Today we're going to talk about classification of business. Business by activity is classified into three parts: primary, secondary, and tertiary. Primary sector involves of natural resources. For example, like wood, fishing, mining, these all come under primary sources. Secondary source involves the manufacturing and processing of raw materials, or primary sectors, maybe you could say. So, an example could be taking wood from the primary sector and then turning it into a furniture, for example, like a chair or a table or something. Now, this is the all the production and the processing that happen in the secondary stage. And then tertiary is providing service for consumers and customers. For this, we could say like manufacturing. So, as I give the example for wood, now there is something important to consider in this example. For example, if there was no wood available in the first place, how could we make uh, a furniture out of it? How could we make a chair without a wood, or without? How could we make a product without a natural resource? So it's a no in this case. And also in the secondary sector, how could we like produce something out of a raw material when there is no industrialization or there is no secondary sector? So what I'm explaining right now is called chain of production. It basically tells how important and dependent each of these sectors are on each other. So we call it a chain of production. To compare different sectors, first of all, it's important to compare the number of people employed in each sector. Another thing is the value of output or good that they produce. If there is 50 people maybe working for a sector of the business, then they might make less output, and which is how we compare different sectors of economy or business. You might have heard of the term industrialization and deindustrialization. Now, what are these? Industrialization is the growing importance of secondary sector and the reduced importance of primary sector. Primary sector. When the raw materials aren't as valued, or there's less businesses focused on the raw materials, or basically the primary sector, and more businesses focusing on industrialization and making the products, this is called industrialization. And deindustrialization is the growing importance of tertiary sector and the reduced importance of secondary sector. When the industries are low, when there's less production happening, and there's more importance of service or selling the production, this is called deindustrialization. Basically, when the production and things are not happening as much as selling happens. Business by ownership is divided into private and public. Now, private businesses, as you might already know, they're controlled by individuals, and their main aim is just profit. Examples would be like shops and restaurants that they only provide services, and their main aim is just profit. While public businesses, their aim isn't profit, they are just for public service, and it's also controlled by governments. Governments and service. Examples could include like schools and hospitals. They're not looking for profit, they're just providing service. Now, another concept is called mixed economy. Mixed economy is where public and private businesses they own resources together and they are controlled by both private and public sectors. Private, public, yeah. So when the raw materials or the production and everything is controlled by both parties, both private and public sector, this is called a mixed economy. Now there are multiple sectors, or there are multiple businesses included in both the private and public sectors. For example, in private sector there is a sole trader, a person or like an individual who owns the business by themselves, and then partnership, multiple people owning the business. Partnership, yeah, I mentioned limited companies, and then joint venture and franchisee, where like a small business or an individual joins with a bigger business to like maybe it works on different things, and there's advantage for both the franchisee who owns the business and franchisor who owns the business, and franchisee like just an employee is like that is a person who is partnershiping or like is a partner with the other business, and the bigger business like the franchisor gives advice and branches to and everything to like the franchisee. So there's like much more in this topic to talk about. We're gonna talk about that in another topic of private and public businesses. And for public sector businesses, there's government departments and public corporation and nationalized industries. This is all included in public sectors, and we will talk about that in next video. Now, some of the major differences between private and public businesses is that public businesses, everything is owned by the government. In public businesses, everything is decided by the government. For example, the production process, what to produce, how to produce, and then for whom to produce, who is like maybe like the audience, or who is the consumers or customers for the product. This is all decided by the government only. While in private businesses, what to produce is often or always consumer's choice. You see like what is needed in the market, and then you do that. It's like as you aim for only profit or service, maybe in some cases. How to produce is also dependent on firms who wants to make profit, and it's like production is also very important for profit, and for whom to produce is also decided based on the consumers or customers. So this makes the end of this topic. Hope you enjoyed it. In the description here there is a link for notes, worksheet and image. If you want to support me, you can subscribe to my channel. Thank you.